guys, we're starting off the latest build of the Thunderbird 2 from the Thunderbirds. Now you saw my intro to this build and we talk about the fact that it's a transparent model. And what I'm planning on doing is building it half transparent and half fully painted on the outside. So you'll see I have both versions in one model. So right now what I'm doing is I have to plan out where everything is going to go, because we also have to figure out how I'm going to light this thing. So we're starting off on our first step here, which we have our living quarters, our nuclear reactor, our engines. So we're just going to start cutting parts out and let's see where we get. Okay guys, here we have just about all the parts we'll need for the first step of this build. Now if you noticed, I only cut out one set of the engines because the other side is going to be painted. So you won't be able to see that these parts are not in there. And this is where I'm planning on running my wiring for the lighting through this channel here. So we're going to leave those two parts out, and you'll see the engine work here, the nuclear reactor here, the living quarters. Oh, I have one more piece that I have to find somewhere. F6. Ah, there it is. F6, which is another transparent part. Okay, so now we have all of the parts that we're going to need to start plotting out where we're going to run our lights and our wiring, and how these parts are all going to sit within the model. So the first thing we need is we need to pull the nose off, and we're going to concentrate on the upper part of the ship where our living quarters will be installed. The living quarters go right there. Oh wait, we're missing one more part. This is F6. We're missing F4 right here. Good pair of nippers, always very, very important. Okay. So this is going to go here. F4 is going to go here, which is going to lock the interior panel in place. That's going to lock that panel in place. And F6, I'm not really clear on which way F6 is supposed to face. Let's see. Oh, that sits flush that way. But if we go this way, no, it doesn't fit correctly that way. So it is keyed to go in one direction, it seems like. So I'm going to say that for now, this is how that's going to fit. Now our cockpit is molded into the clear styrene. So we're going to have to do the painting there, and we're going to leave all these control surfaces clear, because what we're going to do is we're going to add the decals and we're going to backlight those. Hopefully this will work and light up the control surfaces. So at least I'm hoping that's how it's going to turn out. So those are our parts on the upper portion of the ship. Now we have the lower portion, which is going to get... Okay, we're going that way, and... Let's see, gotta make sure I'm holding this to the correct side, which is going to go there, and it shows align pins. Okay, so it wants you to align the pins here. And then a little tricky is to trying to figure out exactly where you're supposed to align these pins. If it goes here and then this goes here, so there's gonna have to be a little bit of trial and error fitting as you try and figure out where everything's supposed to go, because it's not really clear where this is supposed to sit. Let's just make sure that I have G41 and G37. Make sure I cut the right ones out. Yeah, 41 and 37. So we're looking at this here. Even if we align the pin there, and we join that there, it looks to me like that's supposed to go. Yeah, okay, now that looks like where it's supposed to go. You'll see that the back of the ship is notched out here, and if we don't drop the part, it looks to me that the engine component is supposed to sit here, is where it looks like it sits correctly. And now we join the two engine halves together, and we'll see that that pin sits, doesn't sit anywhere where it looks like it's going to align with that little mounting pin. You would almost think, according to the instructions, that that mounting pin is going to fit there. If it aligns there, and this part aligns here, it makes sense because it will allow you to install the 4 stilt legs in between here and here. If you're going to position it with the stilt legs holding the craft up as it's unloading its payload from the pod. So that, I think, is going to be where that will sit. But what that's going to leave you with is a gap here, which we'll have to see if the stilt leg takes up that gap. So now let's just put the two halves of the ship together, and we'll see how well all this goes together. Okay, so we're here, and this is definitely telling me that I've got this the wrong way. There we go. So now we figured out that this is supposed to sit flush here. So that'll tell you what direction. So it is keyed to sit in one specific direction. All right, so now that we figured that out, let's see how well we're going to do here. Now that we got that figured out, now everything goes right together. Okay, so here we're going to see how the engine's going to fit within the ship. So once it's glued in, it won't be moving around, but you can see all of the engine detail that's going to be available from the ship. Now I'm going to have to see what's going on here, because I'm really not crazy about that gap between the two engine components. So I might actually fabricate something there just to have the engine look complete while still making allowance for the stilt legs. So that takes care of that. Now we'll take a look at our nuclear reactor. And let's make sure we don't lose our parts. We have 1, 2, 3, which looks like one of our parts seems to have rolled somewhere. It should still be here on the table somewhere. Okay, so that's going to sit there. And there. So let's just take a look at where the nuclear reactor is going to sit. We only need to see it mocked up. We don't have to have it perfectly mounted there. Okay. And here we have all the internal components, even though we seem to have lost one piece already, which this has got to be the fastest that I've ever lost a part. I'm sure it's up here somewhere. I'll find it. And here we have, if not, this will be a pretty easy piece to replicate, as it's just a round piece of sprue, so I can just always make one. Not a big deal. Okay, guys. So here we have the mock-up of the Thunderbird ship with most of its major components in place. So now I'm going to have to figure out exactly how I'm going to wire it and power this in order to have a pretty nice display and have everything lit. So altogether, it's looking like a pretty nice kit. So we're going to continue with this and figure out how we're going to get all of this working. Alright, since we got everything ready to go on the ship, and we've got an idea of where everything's going to sit inside the ship, or most of it anyway, now we're going to have to open up our LEDs. Just got these in, ordered a bunch from Amazon. Really cheap. You can get 50 LEDs in here, and these are the micro SMD LEDs. And hopefully this is going to work out for what I want. It's my first time doing this, so I'm just hoping I ordered the correct stuff. I posted a link to where I got these from, so you guys, if you're interested in doing something like this, if I can even get this bag open. The bag is completely sealed. Do I have to tear that open? Watch me try and figure out how to open a bag. Okay, so that's one bag to open up another bag to get to the third bag with our LEDs in it. So let's open up this one. And here we have our micro SMD LEDs. At least I think that's what they're called. I don't even know if you guys can see them. I can barely see it, and I'm sitting here looking at them. But look at the size of these things. Hold on, let's see if we can't zoom that in a little bit more. And let's see if I can give you guys a look at it. You see that little tiny yellow thing at the end there? That is the LED. And I use these really thin, I think these are called magnet wires. So what I'm going to do is hook this up to a 3-volt battery. And let's just see how bright they are. But I do believe this is going to work perfectly for my needs. Now, LEDs, one little thing about LEDs we all have to know is that the power only flows in one direction. So if it doesn't work one way, just flip the wires around and it'll work the other way. So let's go here. Let's do the blue positive and red negative. And that is not working. I'm not even sure if I had it on there correctly. This is just on the fly. Trying to make it work, and I can't even see the end of these wires. That's red on one side. And there we go, guys. And can you guys see that? Let's see. There we go. Now that is pretty good for these teeny tiny little lights. Let's just take a look at something here. Let's just put a light inside there. And you can see how bright that is as to how that's going to light the interior of the ship. So now we have our lights. Let's see what else comes in this kit with these LEDs. You get 50 LEDs. You also get a bag of resistors. Here we go. Okay, well, we should have just read the directions and we would know that the positive wire is red and the negative wire is blue. But that would require, reading directions, and we don't do that here. And it also comes, oh, here we go. Includes accessories to connect to the 3-volt button cell. That's not included. But you do get the connectors to run your wires together. It says the button cells are not included, but I see... Oh, the battery is not included. But it does include these accessories, which is... Here we have our battery holder, which I didn't know came with the kit, and I ordered a few extras. And we get 2 battery holders, and we get these quick connects here to attach all our wiring together. I see, so this is just one of these, put the wire in and crimp it down. I do believe that's all that there is to this. So let's see what else it says here. Accessory, remote control junction box. Oh, so you can also get a remote control for it. That would be very cool to have. 13 keys, remote control, battery included. Output voltage is 3 volts. Suitable for 3 LED lights. Now, I didn't know they had this. DC 3 to 12 volts here for a junction block. Wow, look at that. And then we have product specifications here. Red positive, blue negative. So this is a pretty nice kit. Also comes, as I said, with these resistors in case you need them, depending on how much voltage you're going to be using to run whatever system, which that we're not doing. We're going to keep it simple. Our battery box here has a simple on and off switch. We install the coin battery into the battery box, attach our LEDs, using these junction blocks here, I'm guessing, and then attach the LEDs on the other side. And I wonder how many we can use together here. Here they show quite a few of them together running off of one coin cell battery. So this is interesting. So guys, we're going to be getting into all of this. I got to do a little bit of measuring and a little bit of figuring out to see where these are going to run. So we're going to leave this here while I do a little more research and a little measuring to see how I can fit these lights in here where they're going to look its best. And on the next episode, we're going to start installing the lighting, and then we're going to start looking at the painting and how we're going to get this half and half body painted up and giving us a really cool model with lights. Alright guys, gonna end it here. Join us on the next episode where Thunderbird 2 will start taking off. See you on the next one.